What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys are feeling more like Robin Hood and app loving, not so much like TDD. But yeah, we had PPI came out pretty much in line. So markets, that's all you need. That's all you need in the markets. We'll take a look at that in a second. But first, we got AJ in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Albert, Anna, Andy, Bill, Brad. Chris is in the house. Good morning to you. Darian, good morning. We got Emily, Frank, GW, JT, Keith, Lauren, Lucian, Malik. Good morning to Marius, Martina, Rob, Tim, Wendy. Squadron is piling in. Good morning to you, Clarice, in YouTube land. First one in there. Nice job. Good job. Taking that gold medal. Taking the platinum medal today. Beautiful. We got Mustafa E. Queen. Good morning to you. We got Leonard in the house as well. All my lurkers in the background of YouTube. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. But whew, let's see. Let's see what we got. So, um, for the most part, earnings were good last night. No real crazy surprises. A couple to the upside. And then, like I said, TTD dying. I'm actually in TTD at the moment for a day trade. I think we've gone a little too far, and we'll see if we get a little bit of a bounce back, but I'm in that one currently. Otherwise, you got SPY is gapping a little bit, nothing crazy. We got right into this resistance yesterday, and we were right at the high end of yesterday, so we didn't quite hit 604.76. So that would be my target to the high side. You got 604.83. Next target, the one after that, if we could get there, would be 605.04. So we're starting, we are opening up higher. It is a retest gap from yesterday. Still right back inside this big old red candle and a lot of resistance above us. So I do think the market has a little bit of work to do. That being said, we are pretty bullish. I think I'm going to need to see a little pullback or be patient being a bull, unless again something that I'm in personally right now is TDD just looks a little different than the market. I think it just dropped a little too much, so I'm trying to play a small little rally on that one. Pretty decently tight stops on it, but um yeah, we got. I think if we get a pullback into like 603.42, that might be your spot to say that okay, maybe we could hold, maybe there's a bounce. You have one more support level at 603 flat. But again, outside we closed inside this little triangle that I have on my screen. That would be kind of also the retest into that what was resistance and it should be support. And you got the VPOC lined up all right there as well. So we'll see what happens on that. We'll see if we can get a little pullback first and bounce. Wendy says Trump is going to release tariffs around one. Yeah, I'm not sure who's he releasing the tariffs on. Uh, I don't know. Is it the steel and aluminum? Because I thought he was doing that already. Otherwise, he also mentioned pharmaceuticals too, and I haven't really heard him talk too much about tariffs on pharmaceuticals. And if that's the case, Georgie says everyone, mother and children include. It's 2025. It's equal opportunity for everybody. Does make sense. Tariff threats seem to be working. Um, yeah. So far he's batting 1,000 on getting what he wants from just the thought of tariffs, which is good. But again, I don't know what this is. I think it might be more of a blank. Oh, this is the reciprocal tariffs. Okay. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out at 1 o'clock. So just be aware of that. The market, obviously, that's news that you guys are telling me. So you guys already know the news, and I would assume that the rest of the market probably also knows that news too, and we are up on it. So as those tariffs pass, as long as it's what people are saying it's supposed to be, the market doesn't seem to care. The market is still gapping up on it, but we'll see if Trump does hold any kind of press conference and throws out any other words or language that is maybe not expected. Otherwise, we got the Qs. That one's also opening pretty decent, but we do have a little bit of resistance, 530.34. If we're going to retest yesterday, we got 2 days in a row now. Strong support if we get a pullback, 528.37. And before that, we also have a mini support, which again, this is a pretty decent gap knowing that we got past this already, but 529.62. So we'll see if we can hang into any of those levels. We'll see if we can start climbing above this 530.34 zone. The next resistance, not too far away, would take us into 530.88. And this is the last kind of big sell-off candle that we had. We're right at the opening price of that. Probably at least on top of the previous VPOC from January 31st. We also have just probably a psychological level here as well. So we'll see what happens on this one if we can get any just straight continuation or this does want to hold. We chop around a little bit. Right now it does look a little choppy. And maybe we're gonna wait till Trump. Maybe we have to wait till Trump comes out. We will see. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, BTC, USD. Bitcoin is pulling back a little bit, so decent day yesterday. Still in this chop zone. So now you're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. 9 days we have not done anything in Bitcoin except hang around and give hopium to both sides. That's about it. Funny enough, if you guys think this week has been absolutely volatile and like so much has happened in this week, if we pull up the weekly chart of the SPY. We have done nothing. We we're just sitting on a big old high wave indecision candle, so we're still waiting for kind of a bigger move somewhere. But just depending on how this one looks, otherwise on a weekly, you're still inside last week's candle, which is still inside the week before, which is still inside the week before. Nothing has changed in the last 4 weeks of trading, and we've had a lot of news that we had to deal with. The market has not really responded. So if anybody's getting frustrated, just understand. And I was talking to somebody yesterday in Slack, uh, where I think they were just getting a little frustrated on the trading. I think they were looking for more like swings, more swing trading. This you have to understand where you are in the market, right? I've actually been doing very little swings. A lot of what I've been doing has been working is selling puts, selling calls. Uh, Day trading has been pretty decent throughout most of this, right? Swings, the market hasn't moved, right? So you'd have to find a very special story, maybe something. I don't really like to carry anything through earnings, but something based on what Trump says, some kind of political something, and those are the trades that you could probably look to set up as some type of swing trade. Otherwise, this is a difficult market for this. If the market is just going straight up or straight down, then you could overtrade, right? And I'm not encouraging it, but you could overtrade as long as you're in the right direction, and you'll probably hit a lot of wins in both sides. You could probably have swing trades out there. You could be buying calls, buying puts. But if you're just chopping, this is not the time you really want to be buying calls, buying puts. Again, individual names will move differently and things will have a big move. You can capitalize on it, but you're probably going to want to take those gains a lot quicker than in this type of market. So just be aware we haven't really done anything, even though we have a lot of news coming in and fear, worries, stories all over CNBC and wherever else, Bloomberg, but we haven't done anything. So just be cautious on that. Know when a time to allocate cash and when not to, and I think that will go a long way. But coin just sitting sideways, nothing. I mean, Bitcoin sitting sideways, nothing crazy. Coinbase does have earnings. Is this today after the bell? Yeah, today after the bell. So know that that's there. You do have a little bit of a gap up on it, I think, in response to Robinhood, whose numbers were pretty good. You have crypto over the last 3 months doing fairly well, which is usually would relate pretty decent to them. So I think running into earnings, I have no idea what those earnings are going to be. I think the last time they reported was a rough miss. Yeah, they missed by 32% earnings per share, and they did miss by 55 million. But those numbers didn't really include the last run up. So I would expect probably decent earnings on Coinbase, but it looks like the market's already kind of putting that out there as well. So we have a little bit of resistance on this one. It is a retest gap. It's a retest gap, but you did close yesterday inside this candle as well. You're getting above some other red candles. You do have earnings, so probably a little bit of optimism still coming in, flooding in from Robinhood. If we could get through 283.82, I kind of like this trade as a day trade. which would give me room at least to 289.67. And if it wants to go a little bit to the wild side, you got 295.06. So yeah, I have no problem looking to take this. Maybe I want a little pullback first. If I could get that, that'd be fantastic. I don't know where this pullback's going to come into. A deep pullback would be like 280. Otherwise, you do have a little bit of support, right? Pretty much where we're opening 282.64 and then like 281.71. And then I know I have that little bit of resistance, but maybe that might make a good high wave play. Tight move in between support resistance. If it could give us something for a breakout play, I think we could try that one. I don't think it's that bad. We got Tesla, which had a pretty good day, kind of sort of yesterday. We got right into, I think, above the opening price of the day before candle. I don't really have a VPOC on this one up until like this 359, almost 360 zone. So this one has some room, opening pretty decent. We are higher than yesterday's VPOC as well, so that's the first time that's happened in quite some time. We are also above the 100 EMA, so I would like to see a little pullback on this one, come back, retest. You know that the top of this candle, the high end of the wick, will also be some type of resistance, 349.51. I think we end up breaking that possibly today, especially if the market can get through some of those key resistance that we're looking at. But I think the closest you could get to like a 344.75, I think the happier you'd be. I don't know if we've already hit that one pre-market. Let's see where those where PPI was announced. PPI got us down to like 342.83. So already kind of pulled back, already had that retest. I'd still be patient. I'd still see if we could get again some type of setup, but yeah, bullish for me would be the direction on this one for today with a decent potential move ahead of us up maybe another $14 into the first resistance on that one. AMD XYZ. Yeah, AMD 114 is the spot I've been looking for a while. 114.46. I think that's your target for today. Again, would it make sense that we get a little bit of a pullback? We got 3 days of buying. We're right at the high end of that last almost breakout that we had. So the high end of this candle was 113.07. It is a retest gap. If we could get some kind of pullback, and that could be a decent pullback all the way to 111.53, that might be your spot to establish along. Otherwise, you're right. You got roughly this 111.53 is your support, and then the next resistance 114.46, kind of in the middle of both. So flip a coin if you're going to take it out of the gate. Otherwise, kind of let it do its thing. I would prefer to see that little bit of a sell-off pullback. It's AMD. It's been on a downtrend. I can't imagine that's not a impossible feat for AMD to pull back. It's actually pretty good at it. So we'll see if we could get that pullback in here. And then probably not the first candle of the day, but I think if you wait a little bit, you might have a decent setup on that one. Let's see. XYZ. Then I see TTD next. Yep, down 30%. Getting rocked. XYZ, so Square, interesting location. Almost got down to that previous support. Didn't quite get there, but that would have been around $80.92. It was a retest gap from yesterday. I don't know if we have the bulls really stepping into this one yet, but an interesting spot to look. I don't really have. I got one little resistance at 83.88, and now this would be some kind of retest from yesterday. I'd see if this one can pull back. I wouldn't get too aggressive, I don't think, on this one, but 82.96 would be my support. You do have some room if this can get going to, I think, about this 84.86 zone, and you're also opening roughly about 50% of that last downward candle. So not great there. I think that should be probably targets for any bulls. I think immediate targets or some profit taking, and then if this one could pull back into Tuesday's support, pretty much retesting the top of yesterday's candle, I think I'd be down with it. To try. You should have, even for a swing trade basis, if you get back down there, And maybe if you're trying for a swing and just watching it there, and then better would be like 81.97 with a stop at like $80.06. Swing trade might be tough. You do have your earnings coming out February 20th, so I think that's what, next week, next Thursday. But day trade, yeah, kind of in the middle of things. Would like to see a little bit of a pullback before we get bullish on that one for now. TTD, so this is the one I am in at the moment. Uh, where did I get in? I got in at 120. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Had a $300 stop on it. What I was looking for is consolidation down here, and we are starting to get it. There was a 10 EMA somewhere. I think my setup, let's see what the actual setup was. 86.59. I did get a good pre-market fill. Something like this. The actual fill price on it was 86.40, so they did well on that one for me. And then I got my stop at 85. So I might get stopped on this one. We'll see. But it is down a lot. What I do like on this one, and then I'm looking for 2R target, which is 89.77. I don't know if that's gonna happen. 89.77 targets. Right now, the momentum is strong bear direction. But what I do like on this one is I have a pretty decent longer term volume zone that we're just kind of opening in. Massively down, like I said, about 30%. If I can hit targets, I think the goal, if you get some kind of a balance, you're looking for like about $90.62. So I have the risk to reward there if it could happen, and then you kind of want to try to get above 87.49. That's your first big kind of resistance. My stop may be a little bit tight. Probably should be out to like 40 or 84.11, something like that. But I don't know if the buy the dipper is going to come in on this one. Most likely, I'll probably get stopped. But you do have decent volume that we were holding. We're starting to give that up a little bit, and we'll see kind of how this one plays out for me. But I'm in this one currently, and we'll see if this thing wants to hang in there a little bit. Otherwise, um, yeah, I if we could recapture this one for a day trade, if you guys want to hop in, I'd see if there was a candle, something fun. Otherwise, this entry was off of they were giving me a 10 EMA down there as well, pre-market, and it was also right before PPI. So I thought maybe PPI, the market likes it, the whole thing will move. The whole market did move, just not TTD. So no buyer stepping in quite yet. Um, Hood. Hood had pretty fantastic earnings. I think their CEO was actually he went live on like Twitter to give his uh conference call, which if he's about to do that, you probably got to expect that they were going to be good earnings. But surprise beat earnings per share up by 141%. They also beat by an extra 68 million. So really solid report. You are at almost getting up to all-time highs, not quite there. I think your target to the higher side, if this thing continues to move, you're looking for about $67.80. Otherwise, I don't know. This is definitely a retail loved stock. It is technically a retest gap, but this is a massive move. I probably won't trade this one. I think it does have the ability to actually go higher. I think it has the ability to go higher. Um, I think it's if this thing pulls back. I mean, if you get it at like 56.37, fantastic, good spot to try, great risk reward. I don't think it comes back down there. I think this is going to hang out decently high. I tried this one after hours and I just didn't get filled, unfortunately. I was like, I missed it by like 10 cents after the initial pop on the pullback. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, yeah, I think this one can go higher, but I don't really have any place to throw a really good stop yet. So we'll have to see how this one develops intraday. See if we get any kind of selling on this one. Yeah, AppLovin was crazy. Datadog, I think they were supposed to report earnings, did they? They did. Good earnings. Beat earnings per share by 13%, and then he came in with 23 extra mil in the bank, which is not bad. Gapping down. I don't know if there was a forecast that was bad. Earnings otherwise look decent. You are relatively high up there. I was thinking about playing this one before earnings, and I just held back, restrained myself a little bit, which is unusual but fantastic in this case for me. Otherwise, you are opening to a little support. It is a gap and go. I'd see what happens on this one. Maybe you could get a high wave candle, but if you start to break 136.69, it's not going to look as pretty as a bounce. Your next target down, and I think this one you can break through. We've been here before, but 135.30, and then you have room down to like 132.30. So there is some room. This is some type of support, but it's weak, and we'll see what happens. Otherwise, for right now, I'd remain bullish until you break this 136.69 zone. Otherwise, you have about 140.55 would be your probable target for today. Even with that to a bull side, you got to imagine. I can't. I don't really have a good setup, but I think 138.73 should provide some resistance. So if I think I can get through that, then maybe 140.55 sets me up with some kind of decent risk reward. But I'd be cautious on this one for me personally. But you do have some decent setup where you at least have some risk reward in a bullish direction. Although I think there's a decent amount of bulls kind of trapped on that one. So I rather think I play that one to the downside if it breaks. NXT. Um, yeah, there's another one I was kind of looking at even for a swing trade. I went through the entire list yesterday. I was like, is there any like swings out there? Could I take? I feel like I haven't been doing too many swings lately. I went through the entire list and then realized why I wasn't doing any swings. I was like, there's nothing looks amazing. It's either has run massively or just hasn't been doing anything. Otherwise, for right now, decent move, decent open. This is a retest gap. I don't, a really good retest spot would be 45, 47. I don't necessarily think we get there. Let's see where that volume candle is. That's all the way up here. So that would give you room to like on a really good day, 48.11. But your next target to the higher side is about 47.27. We probably do need SPY to break through some resistance on that. If we get a pullback, the first spot I would look, I wouldn't throw a blind order out, but 45.98, and I'd be more interested in throwing a blind order out somewhere around 45.40. So not bad on that one. We'll see what happens. Um, Again, maybe a high wave candle, but it has to be a small high wave for me to be comfortable to get at least a 1.2 of 47.20 on this one. You got hymns. TTD starting to spike. That's good news. It's right into the VWAP though. I need a little bit more on that one. A little bit. I got hymns, and then also as soon as this market opens, everyone who's said they're losing tons and tons of money probably just sells, and I get stopped at the opening candle. It's my guess, but so far so good. It's hanging in there. We got hymns. Little bit of a retracement gap. That one is up. You got earnings coming out not too far away. They did have some Super Bowl commercials. Hims is representing during the Super Bowl. Uh, yeah, that's a decent retest gap. I'm not sure why this one's gapping up. We'll see if there's news. Executive sell shares under trading plans. So that was 2 days ago. One, two. They still went green on that day. So usually when the board or CEO sells, that's everyone gets panicky. But I don't know. So far, not the case. Yeah, I don't know. That to me probably a retest gap into like 46.33. So I'd be cautious going bullish on that one. Yeah, app. Sydney says, why am I talking myself out of app? What I don't know. Why did you? It's the most amazing company ever. Yeah, good $117 move. Did I get that number correct? Yeah, about $117 move. So not a bad little day for app loving, who had the opportunity not too long ago to be in this thing at like $25. My bigger question is why did I just never get into app loving? I don't know. This is the most amazing company ever. But yeah, App Loved is up. I think they crushed earnings. Yep, so they beat earnings per share by 30%. They came in with an extra 111 million. Retail does like the stock. Again, yeah, it's a little too high, I think, for me to go bullish, and I don't necessarily want to go bearish on this one. But pretty solid move. I think I would, for me, avoid the day trade on it. I think VRT. Hmm, VRT. Uh, oh, now they're gonna come stop me out on TTT. Well, that's kind of rude. All right, we got VRT is for the moment chilling, pretty decent gap down yesterday. So nothing too crazy. But you do have some probable bulls trapped. Chart kind of looks a little messy. You're right at that. You have the 200 EMA a little bit lower. Maybe that needs to retest. For today, you're opening into yesterday's resistance with some resistance from back in February 4th and the 3rd. So looks a little bit weaker. This is attempts to go bullish to close the gap. Didn't even come close to it. But we'll see what happens on this one. I don't think I have much edge on this one. They did have earnings come out, so that's already passed, and that's a pretty decent beat, earnings per share, and 191 million. Just no real response on this one. So we will see. All right, what else do we got? I had my finger on the button twice yesterday afternoon. hmm Let's see, NNE, nano nuclear energy. That one could be interesting. Again, the nuclear energy stocks have been absolutely fire recently. This is a retest gap from yesterday. I mean a really good spot would be $34.19. I don't know if I want that one. If it could stay up above where we're at now, 35.40, that might be interesting. So we'll see. But other than that, you guys on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. But that is a morning bell. So be safe out there. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. One last day of the week. You guys.